If you do guitar repairs, whether it's on your own or for customers, hit that thumbs up button if this scenario sounds familiar. You take the guitar, you set it on the workbench, and you put a neck rest under the neck. This is a super common method and probably how most of us do our work, myself included. One thing I don't like about this method though is that the guitar body is sitting right on the workbench. So anytime I'm using a tool and I need to set it down, I have to be extremely careful to not let it bang into the body. In this video, I want to come up with a solution to this problem and remove a little bit of that stress so that I don't have to worry quite so much about damaging an instrument. I've got a few ideas rolling around in my head, so let's see if we can grab some of those ideas, bring them to life, and create some sort of a riser we can use when working on guitars. I'm Jeff, you're watching Home Built Workshop. Let's get to work. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to this episode of Home Built Workshop. I hope all of you are doing awesome. To build this riser that I'm kind of envisioning, I think the easiest method, at least for me, is we're going to jump into CAD and I'm just going to spend a little bit of time playing with the design. This allows me to experiment with shapes and different sizes and that sort of thing before we actually start cutting some materials. There's a couple of design elements that I want to keep in mind for this project. One is that I don't want this to block string through holes, something like on a Strat or even my Dorian multi-scale with the string through. When a guitar is sitting on this rest, I want to be able to string this up or remove the string, so I need access to those string through holes. The second thing is I want to have sort of a little parts tray. I want to have a place to set screws and things while I'm working where I don't have to worry about them rolling off the bench. So some sort of a little tray, a recess or something like that, where I can place parts where I know they're going to be safe. After spending a bit of time in CAD, here's the design that at least is going to be version 1.
I decided on this sort of two-tier design. The top has this bean shape, and that's going to give us access to any string-through holes on whatever guitar we're working on. The uprights are attached using these little tenons, which are going to be secured into some small mortises on both the top as well as the base. Taking a look at the base, you can see where the mortises are that'll support the uprights, and we've also got a couple of parts trays in here that are going to work good for holding screws. Again, the top is shaped that way so that it works around a tremolo, and I just used the outline of my Haley Guitars multi-scale Dorian that I recently built as sort of a guide to help me get the placement right. But this will work with really about any sort of guitar with a string-through design. I think this is going to work great. We just need to translate this idea into some wood.
To build our riser, I've got this piece of silver maple here. This is 3/4 of an inch thick, and it's even cooler because this is some material that I milled myself with a chainsaw mill from a big giant log several years ago. It's nice and dry. It's going to work perfect for this project. First thing we need to do is cut this board down to size.
All I really need to do is rip it to length. Here I'm using the table saw, but really a circular saw would work just fine. Now I'm going to take that piece we just cut to length and slap it on my CNC machine. Now I know, before you turn the video off, I know not everybody has a CNC machine, but the goal for this project is to really just give you the idea. And then if you want to build something similar, use whatever tools you have available to do that. There's really nothing in this project that you can't do with just regular woodworking tools. You could cut out the base as well as the top shape on a bandsaw. You could cut the mortises and even the little parts trays with a router and a ball end bit. That's exactly what I'm using on this machine. I just don't want anyone to feel like you can't build something like this because you don't have a CNC machine. You absolutely do not need one. One advantage, though, is that while the machine is cutting out these parts, I can go back over to the table saw and begin cutting the legs. We're going to do this the old school way.
Now on the end of these, I need to make a small tenon. This is going to be used for assembly, and it's going to be cut into the other pieces. To do this, we're just going to use a stop block on the table saw. We're going to basically remove, just nibble it away, this excess material.
The stop block is going to be very important because that's what's going to allow us to keep everything uniform. The first thing I'll do is adjust the height of my blade. I'm going to set it a little bit lower than I know it needs. That way we can make a pass, test the fit, and then we can raise the blade as necessary. We'll sneak up on the cut. I'll do the same thing for the stop block. Set it just a little bit shallower than I think it needs to be. And again, once we make that first cut, the first pass, then we can adjust. This isn't a super critical thing, but I do want it to try to fit as snug as possible. And we're all set to make passes. I'm going to do all of one side at first, cutting one tenon, and then we'll test it. And there's our quick tenon. I'm not going to cut the rest of them yet because I need to test this fit first. In order to do that, we've got to finish the cuts on the CNC machine. The machine has finished cutting the parts tray with the ball end bit. Now I need to switch the bit out for a 1/4 inch straight cutting bit, and we can cut the mortise as well as cut out the individual pieces. The robot has finished its work. Let's undo the clamps. Right off the machine, you can see these little tabs on here. These tabs hold the pieces together so that when it's done cutting, this doesn't just flop around in there and crash around into the bit. These little tabs hold everything together, but in order to remove these pieces, we've got to cut those tabs. I like to use an oscillating tool because it makes quick work of it, but you can use anything, handsaw, utility knife, anything like that that you could cut just a little thin sliver of wood. With the pieces cut out, now we can get back to fitting our tenons. Let's go ahead and test this fit, and then we can determine if we need to make any adjustments from there. And it looks like we're just a little bit shy. It's very close though. That just tells me I need to raise this blade just a little bit more. After making a small adjustment on the table saw, I went back and finished cutting all of the tenons on the remaining pieces. I just need to do a little bit of cleanup with a chisel just to make sure the edges are nice and clean. And also I need to knock the corners off of this tenon because the hole is actually rounded, so I need to make sure there's some clearance in there. I want to head over to my little router table and put a small round over along the top edge here. I'm also going to put one on this top corner of the top. What that's going to do is not only round over the edge, but it's going to remove the remnants of these tabs. So I don't have to worry about sanding them away, especially on this curved surface. So to the router table we go. Enough of that fun sanding. Let's glue this. I'm really just trying to get some glue on the tenon.
Snug those down. Looks like it's pulled everything together just like we wanted. We'll just let this dry. Once the glue is dry and we remove the clamps, you guessed it, a little bit of final touch-up sanding before applying the finish. We just can't get away from this sanding. The finish for this particular piece really doesn't matter. Use whatever finish you want. I'm going to keep it simple, give it a couple coats of spray lacquer. Really, you could even leave it with no finish if you wanted to. It's just going to sit on the workbench and hold up your guitar. The finish doesn't really matter. The main reason that I don't really care what finish is on there is because once the finish is dry, I'm going to ultimately add a piece of carpeting to the top. I would never want to just set a guitar on this riser, even though there's nothing sharp. I always want to have some rubber mat, foam, carpeting, something like that to protect the guitar, especially if you're doing work for a customer. I wouldn't even work on my own guitars that way. So no matter what finish you use, put some sort of protective material on the top. Once this finish is dry, I'm going to cut a piece of this carpet here and we'll stick that on the top.
Once the finish has had some time to dry, I'll lay it upside down on my piece of carpet and trace out the shape of the top. Then I can just cut it out with a pair of scissors. To hold the piece of carpet to the top of our riser, I'm just using some double-sided tape. This not only makes it super easy to apply, it also makes it easy to change should I ever need to change it later on. If I glued it on solid, it'd be a lot harder to remove later whenever I need to do that.
Well, I think that looks pretty cool, but looks aren't everything, right? Let's take this thing into the bench, test it out, and see how it actually works.
So now we can take our guitar, place it on the rest, and once we use a neck support of some sort, now we have clear and open space underneath the guitar. This makes it so much easier to take tools and just place it on the table as you're doing a task. You don't have to worry about the tool damaging the guitar. We've got lots of space, and the parts trays are handy for holding small things as well. If we look underneath, you can see we still have complete access to any string through holes. It's perfect.
Well, that's going to be a wrap on our guitar body bench riser. I know, long name, but that's a technical term. This thing works perfectly. It's going to even take a little bit of stress out of the guitar setup process because having the body lifted up, I don't have to worry quite so much if I set a tool down on the bench that it's going to necessarily bang into the body. And really, another bonus, wasn't really intended, but it does lift the body up a little bit higher, so you don't have to hunch over quite so much. So it's a back saver as well. Ergonomic. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope you found this helpful. Let me know down in the comments your thoughts on this project. Also, take this idea, run with it, make it your own, change the shape, change the height, change the entire design, add different elements, whatever it is. This project isn't intended just to be a tool for my repair bench, even though that's exactly what it is. I also want this to just be kind of an idea, a kicking off point for your particular project. Take this idea, run with it, make it your own, have fun with it. Thanks a lot for watching. I gotta go get to work and get some guitars set up. We'll see you next time. Guitar body bench riser. I like it. It's kind of a long name, but this thing's gonna work great. Super cool. Go get back to work here. Let's see.